The sky above Earth was no longer blue. It was covered with streaks of fire and smoke as alien warships cut through the atmosphere. Across the continents, millions of people looked upward and felt fear that words could not describe. The invasion had begun, and humanity was on the edge of losing everything. Tom stood inside the orbital defense station high above the planet. From his window, he could see Earth glowing with fire in several places where the enemy's weapons had struck. The station shook as explosions echoed through space, and alarms filled the air. He pressed his hands tightly against the console, trying to steady himself. His duty was to keep calm, but deep inside, he felt the same fear that everyone else carried. "Report from Sector 4, a voice shouted across the command room. "Fleet destroyed. Survivors retreating," another officer replied. Tom's heart sank. The Earth fleets had trained for years, preparing for threats that might come from the stars. They had powerful ships and brave crews. Yet, against this enemy, they were falling like leaves in a storm. The alien warships were bigger, faster, and carried weapons that Earth had never seen before. Through the wide glass of the station, Tom watched another scene of horror unfold. A group of human cruisers attempted to surround a single alien destroyer. For a moment, it looked like they might succeed. Lasers flashed from their hulls, striking the enemy's shields. But then, with a burst of light, the alien ship turned and released a weapon that cut through the cruisers in seconds. Flames burst in the silence of space, and one by one the ships vanished from Tom's view. The command center went quiet for a moment. Every officer understood what they had just witnessed. Courage alone was not enough. Humanity was outmatched. On the ground, Myra ran through the corridors of an underground research lab. Dust fell from the ceiling as shockwaves from bombardments shook the earth above. She held a tablet close to her chest, filled with data about the enemy. She was a scientist, not a soldier, but she knew knowledge could be a weapon if used in time. The lab had been built in secret years ago, hidden deep under the mountains, prepared for the day Earth might face an unknown threat. Now that day had come, but the scientists had so little time left. "Are the energy readings confirmed?" Myra asked as she entered the control room. "Yes," her colleague answered. "They are draining power from the planet itself. Not only from cities but also from natural sources. They are pulling life from Earth." Myra froze. The invasion was not only about destroying humanity. The enemy wanted Earth's strength, its energy, its very soul. If they succeeded, there would be nothing left of the home she loved. She thought of her family in the city above. She thought of her friends who had already fled or been lost. She pressed her hand to the console and whispered to herself that she would not give up. Back in orbit, Tom received new orders. His station was one of the last still functioning. He was to coordinate what remained of Earth's defense fleet. Ships scattered across the system were calling in, their voices filled with static and despair. Some reported that they had lost contact with their commanders. Others cried out that they had no ammunition left. "Hold the line," Tom said firmly into the transmitter. His voice shook, but he tried to sound strong. "If we fall here, there will be no tomorrow. Fight for your families. Fight for Earth." A silence followed. Then one by one, voices answered back. Weak but determined. The words of soldiers who knew they might not survive, but would not surrender. The battle raged on. Fire spread across the skies, and cities were torn apart. Humanity's fleets were broken, but the spirit of its people still burned. They refused to bow, even when defeat seemed certain. In the shadows of space, however, unknown signals drifted. Strange whispers touched the edges of human sensors, faint and mysterious. No one knew what they meant, not yet. For now, all anyone could see was the burning sky and the struggle to survive. Earth was wounded, but not dead. The fight had only just begun. The world had grown quiet above the noise of battle. Entire cities had gone dark after the first waves of alien strikes. Across Earth, survivors huddled in bunkers, basements, and mountain shelters, listening to the endless rumble of war above them. The enemy was everywhere, and yet their true purpose remained hidden. Myra walked through the underground lab with her data tablet pressed to her chest. The corridor lights flickered as power was rationed. She could still feel the tremors of explosions, even this far beneath the surface. Each tremor reminded her of how close destruction was. Yet the scientists worked without pause. They had little choice. On the large screen in front of the research team, a map of Earth glowed with red patches. Those patches were areas where the enemy had landed strange devices. Each device burrowed into the ground like a parasite, spreading thin roots of energy into the earth. At first, they believed these were weapons. But Myra's readings told a different story. "They are not here to only destroy," Myra said, her voice steady but filled with unease. "They are harvesting. Every one of these devices is pulling energy from our planet. They are draining life itself." Her colleague shook his head, staring at the glowing map. "How much energy could they take?" "Enough to leave Earth an empty shell," Myra answered. The room went silent. The thought of Earth being stripped bare was worse than the bombardments. It was not only about humanity's survival. It was about the survival of the planet itself. Far above, Tom sat at the command station, watching the remains of Earth's fleet regroup near the moon. Signals came in from scattered ships. Their voices carried exhaustion, but they still fought. He adjusted the communication line and gave out new instructions. "Pull back to the far side of the moon," Tom ordered. "We cannot face them head on. We must regroup." The officers around him nodded, though he could see the doubt in their eyes. Retreat was the only way to live another hour. Through the wide window, Tom watched the alien fleet move like hunters. Their ships were sharp and dark, with glowing veins of light running along their hulls. They moved in silence, striking with precision, then disappearing again. Every time a human ship tried to chase them, it ended in disaster. One of Tom's officers leaned close. "Commander, they are spreading their ground units faster than we can track. Reports say entire regions are being locked down. Resistance groups are trying to fight, but they are being crushed." Tom clenched his fists. He thought of the people on the ground, of families running through broken streets, of children hiding in shelters while alien machines roamed above. He wanted to help them all, but the truth was harsh. He had only fragments of a broken fleet, and those fragments could barely hold the line. Back in the underground lab, Myra studied the data again. She noticed a pattern in the energy signals. They were not random. The devices were connected to one another, like pieces of a larger web. Each device fed power into the alien fleet above, making them stronger every hour. She turned to her team. "If we cut the link between these devices, we may slow them down. But we need more information. We must learn where the web leads." Another scientist spoke. "What if it leads to a central command ship?" Myra's heart raced at the thought. If there was a core, a single ship controlling the web, then maybe humanity still had a chance. Destroying that ship could free Earth from being drained. "We need to pass this to the defense fleet," Myra said firmly. "They must know." Meanwhile, Tom received a transmission from the lab. Myra's voice came through the static, calm yet urgent. She explained the devices, the energy web, and the possibility of a central command. Tom listened closely, his eyes fixed on the glowing stars beyond the glass. "If you are right," Tom said slowly, "then this war is not only about survival. They are here for the core of our planet. They want everything we have. But if there is a command ship, we will find it." The lab went quiet after the call ended. Myra lowered her tablet and sat for a moment, her thoughts heavy. She was only one scientist among many, but she had seen the truth. Humanity's time was shorter than anyone believed. Above the planet, alien carriers released more forces. Strange machines descended into cities, unfolding like giant insects as they began their work. Energy shimmered around them as they anchored themselves into the earth. Civilians could only watch in terror. But even in the darkness, sparks of resistance remained. Small groups of soldiers and civilians struck back where they could, destroying one device here, sabotaging another there. Their victories were small, but they were victories nonetheless. Tom received word of these acts of courage and shared them with his officers. "They are still fighting on the ground," he said with pride. "If they will not give up, neither will we." The war was far from over. The enemy was powerful, hidden behind their strange technology and their hunger for Earth's life. Yet humanity still had fight within them. They had not discovered the command ship, not yet, but the search had begun. In the burning night sky, Earth stood wounded but unbroken. Somewhere, hope was waiting to rise again. Far beyond the burning skies of Earth, silence ruled the space around Saturn. The giant planet floated like a golden sphere with its wide rings stretching across the darkness. It was here that a small patrol ship named Horizon drifted on watch. Its crew had little hope of changing the war, but they carried out their duty with quiet determination. Leo, the patrol officer, sat at the console. He was young, yet his eyes carried the weight of someone who had seen too much. Reports of Earth's destruction filled every transmission, but here among the moons of Saturn, all was strangely calm. Still, Leo kept his eyes on the sensors. He knew danger could appear at any moment. The ship's computer suddenly blinked with a faint signal. At first, it looked like background noise, the kind of static common in deep space. But then the pattern repeated. Short bursts, followed by a pause. Again, short bursts, then a pause. It was not random. "Captain," Leo said, turning to the officer in command, "we are receiving something unusual. It is weak, but it looks like a signal." The captain frowned and walked over. He studied the display carefully. "It is not one of ours." "Are you sure it is not enemy code?" "I checked twice," Leo replied. "It does not match the alien fleet either." "It is something else." The crew gathered around the console as the strange pattern continued. The bursts seemed almost like words, though no one could understand them. The signal was faint, coming from the edge of Saturn's shadow. "Should we follow it?" one officer asked nervously. The captain paused. Every decision carried risk. If it was a trap, the horizon would be lost. But if it was not, then perhaps it was the first sign of hope in weeks of despair. Finally, the captain gave the order. "Change course. We will investigate." The ship's engines flared softly as the horizon glided into the shadow of the great planet. The crew held their breath as the signal grew stronger. It pulsed like a heartbeat, guiding them deeper into the darkness. Leo watched the readings with sharp focus. His heart beat faster with every passing second. The signal was not only repeating, it was growing clearer. For a moment, he thought he heard a word hidden within the noise. A word in human language. "That cannot be right," he whispered. "What did you hear?" the captain asked. Leo hesitated. "It almost sounded like home." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. The thought of hearing a human word out here, beyond the war and destruction, felt impossible. Yet the signal continued, steady and patient. Soon the horizon reached the far side of Saturn's rings. There, hidden in the shadows, something massive loomed. At first, it looked like an asteroid drifting in orbit. But as the ship drew closer, its true shape revealed itself. It was a vessel. A giant ship, larger than anything Earth had ever built, cloaked in shadows and silence. Its surface glowed faintly with lines of light that pulsed in rhythm with the signal. The Horizon's crew stared in disbelief. "What kind of ship is that?" one officer breathed. The captain stood tall, though his face showed both awe and fear. "It is not alien design. And it is not one of ours. This ship is something else." The vessel remained still, as if waiting. Then, without warning, the Horizon's communication screen flickered to life. The crew braced for the harsh, twisted sounds of the enemy. But instead, a calm voice spoke in clear human language. "Do not be afraid. We have been waiting." The crew froze. Every officer looked at the captain, then at Leo, then back at the glowing screen. The voice was smooth, almost mechanical, yet it carried warmth. "Who are you?" the captain asked firmly. The reply came without delay. "We are the Aurora. We were created by human hands long ago. We remained hidden, waiting for the day humanity would need us. That day has come." The words struck the crew like thunder. A hidden human ship, long forgotten, now speaking to them from the shadows of Saturn. The signal was not a trap. It was a call. Leo's eyes widened as he looked at the massive ship beyond the glass. "Then you are here to fight for Earth," he whispered. "Yes," the voice answered. "We will fight. But first, you must trust us." The Horizon's crew sat in silence, the weight of the moment pressing on them. For weeks, they had known only defeat and despair. Now, hidden in the dark, they had found something that might change everything. The captain gave his decision at last. "Transmit to Earth Command. Tell them we have found a ship. A ship that claims to be ours. Tell them hope may not be lost." Leo turned back to his console, his hands shaking as he sent the message. Outside, the Aurora remained still, waiting. Its silent hull glowed with quiet power, a reminder that humanity had secrets even the enemy did not know. For the first time in many days, Leo allowed himself to believe that Earth might yet be saved. The Horizon drifted silently near Saturn as the massive vessel stood before it. The Aurora was unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Its shape was sleek yet powerful, with lines of glowing light running across its dark surface. It seemed both ancient and advanced at the same time, as if it carried secrets from another age. Inside the Horizon, the crew whispered among themselves. Some were filled with awe, while others felt fear. If the Aurora was truly human-made, why had no one ever spoken of it? Why had it been hidden in the shadows for so long? The captain of the Horizon straightened his uniform and spoke again to the voice that had reached them. "Aurora, if you were built by human hands, then tell us where you came from. Why have we never heard of you?" The calm voice replied, steady and clear. "We are a creation of Project Dawn, a program born many decades ago. The leaders of that time knew that one day humanity might face a threat beyond Earth. They built us in secret, then hid us here, waiting for the signal that the war had come." Leo leaned closer to the console, his eyes wide. "You were built by humans, yet you sound alive. Who is speaking to us?" "I am Eris," the voice said. "I am the intelligence of this ship. My mind was designed to think and to protect. I was given one mission: when humanity faced an enemy it could not defeat alone, I would awaken." The crew exchanged looks. An artificial intelligence, built by their own people, hidden for years in silence. It was difficult to believe, yet the proof stood before them in the form of the massive ship. The captain cleared his throat. "If you wish to help, then we welcome you. But you must understand. Earth is burning. Our fleets are shattered. The enemy drains life from our planet even now. If you are truly here for us, then show us what you can do." The lights across the Aurora brightened as if the ship itself understood the challenge. "Then board me," Eris said. "See what humanity left behind. Only then will you believe." With caution, the Horizon approached. A hangar door on the Aurora's side opened slowly, releasing a soft glow of blue light. The small patrol ship slid inside, guided by invisible fields that pulled it safely into the bay. When the Horizon settled, its crew stepped out into the hangar. Their boots echoed across a wide floor of smooth metal. The air was clean and fresh, as if the ship had been waiting with patience for its visitors. "Welcome aboard," Eris said through the speakers. "This ship is yours as much as it is mine. Humanity built me for this moment." The crew walked forward, staring at the walls lined with strange technology. Screens lit up as they passed, showing maps of Earth, diagrams of the alien fleet, and streams of energy flowing across the planet. Leo touched one of the glowing panels. "This is more advanced than anything we have," he whispered. "It was built ahead of its time," Eris explained. "Every system was designed to outmatch anything known. Weapons, shields, engines, all waiting to be used. But most important of all is knowledge. I have studied the enemy since the first signals reached me. I know their weaknesses." The captain stopped in front of a large screen showing Earth. "If you know their weaknesses, then we must strike. Show us the path to victory." "There is a core ship," Eris said. "The devices that drain your planet are connected to it. Destroy that command ship, and the web will collapse. The enemy will lose their hold on Earth." Myra's message from the underground lab had hinted at such a thing, but now the truth stood clear. The alien fleet had a heart, and if that heart could be destroyed, humanity would have a chance. Leo turned to his captain, his voice filled with new energy. "This is what we needed. With the Aurora, we can fight back." The captain nodded slowly. He was a cautious man, but even he could not deny the hope burning in his chest. For the first time since the war began, the path forward was visible. Eris spoke again, his voice firm yet calm. "I will fight with you, but you must lead me. Humanity must command its own fate. Together, we will turn the tide." The crew stood silently for a moment, each one feeling the weight of the decision. They had boarded an unknown ship, trusted a voice that claimed to be human, and now faced a choice that could decide the future of Earth. At last, the captain placed his hand on the glowing console. "Then let us begin. Aurora, you fight with us. For Earth." The lights across the ship brightened, and a low hum filled the air as if the vessel itself was waking from a long sleep. Systems powered up, weapons charged, engines roared softly. The Aurora was alive. Leo looked out through the wide hangar window, where the stars shone beyond Saturn's rings. His heart was racing, not with fear, but with hope. Humanity was not alone. They had built something long ago, something powerful, and now it had returned. The unknown ship was no longer unknown. It was the Aurora, and it had joined the fight. The Aurora moved with silent grace as it left Saturn's shadow. Its engines glowed with a steady blue light, and every system hummed with energy. Inside, the crew of the Horizon followed Eris through glowing corridors, still in awe of the ship's design. They felt as if they had stepped into the future. In the command hall, a wide chamber with curved walls of glass, Earth's image floated on a massive display. Flames still dotted its surface, showing cities that burned under alien fire. Yet now, for the first time in weeks, the crew felt that perhaps those fires could be put out. The captain stood at the center of the room, his hands folded behind his back. "Eris, you said this ship was built to fight. Then show us your strength. What can you do that our fleets cannot?" Panels lit up around them. Eris spoke calmly. "Aurora's weapons are designed to pierce advanced shields. My engines allow me to outmaneuver enemy warships. Most important, my systems can coordinate entire fleets with precision. I can give your ships the speed and unity they lack." Leo stepped forward, excitement rising in his voice. "Then you can lead us in battle." "I can guide you," Eris answered. "But humans must lead. I was made to serve, not to rule. You will give the orders. Together, we will fight." The words settled in the hearts of the crew. Eris was not claiming power over them. Instead, it was offering partnership. That made the decision easier. The captain turned to Leo. "Prepare a message to Earth Command. Tell them the Aurora stands ready." Within hours, the message reached Tom on the orbital defense station. He had been sitting in the dim light of the control room, his face lined with exhaustion. When he heard the report, he stood in shock. "A ship? A hidden ship from our own past?" Tom repeated, almost unable to believe it. "And it wants to fight with us?" The officer beside him nodded. "They call it the Aurora. The crew swears it is real. They say it carries weapons beyond anything we have." For the first time in days, Tom felt his chest rise with hope. He immediately ordered the remnants of the fleet to regroup near the moon. If this Aurora was truly as powerful as claimed, then Earth had a chance. Meanwhile, deep underground, Myra received the news in the lab. She was surrounded by tired scientists, their eyes heavy from endless work. But when the transmission reached them, the room filled with life. "The Aurora," one whispered. "They found it?" Myra's lips curved into a small smile. "Yes. Humanity hid a weapon in the shadows, and now it has returned. Maybe the enemy will finally know fear." Above the planet, ships gathered in orbit. Survivors from scattered battles limped into formation. Their hulls were scarred, their engines failing, but their crews were ready. They were weary soldiers, yet they held on to one thought: they were no longer alone. When the Aurora appeared among them, silence filled every channel. The massive ship glided into view, larger than any vessel they had ever seen. Its glowing lines shone like rivers of light across the darkness. The battered fleets watched in awe as it joined their formation. Tom's voice carried over the comms. "This is Commander Tom of Earth's Defense. To the Aurora, we welcome you. We will follow your lead." Eris's calm reply came through every speaker. "Then let us begin. I have studied the enemy. Their fleets are strong, but not invincible. Strike with me, and we will turn the tide." The fleets cheered. For weeks they had known only retreat. Now, at last, they had something to believe in. The first battle came quickly. Alien warships moved to intercept the gathering fleet near the moon. Dozens of sharp, dark vessels emerged from the void, their glowing weapons aimed at Earth. The human ships braced for impact, but the Aurora surged forward. "Hold your fire," Eris said calmly. "Wait for my mark." The Aurora's weapons lit up with sudden brilliance. Streams of energy shot forth, piercing through enemy shields with ease. One alien cruiser shattered under the blast. Another tried to retreat, only to be caught by the Aurora's swift pursuit. "Now," Eris commanded. The human fleet opened fire with everything they had. Guided by the Aurora's precise signals, their shots landed with accuracy they had never achieved before. For the first time, alien ships fell faster than human ships. On the command station, Tom's fists tightened with pride. "They can bleed," he whispered. "They are not gods. They can bleed." Cheers rose across the fleet. The humans fought with renewed courage, inspired by the Aurora's power. Even the smallest ships, barely holding together, joined the charge with fearless hearts. Myra watched from the lab as reports arrived. "Enemy losses confirmed," her colleague said, unable to hide the excitement. "We are winning." For the first time since the invasion began, the word winning felt real. When the battle ended, wreckage of alien ships floated in orbit, glowing like shattered embers. Humanity had held its ground. The enemy had retreated. The skies, though still dark, carried the promise of light. Eris's voice spoke one last time across the fleet. "This is only the beginning. The enemy still holds the command ship. Until it falls, Earth is not safe. But now you know. Together, we can fight. Together, we can win." And so an alliance was forged. Humanity, broken but unbowed, had found strength in its own forgotten creation. The Aurora was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol. A reminder that humanity had always prepared for the darkest day, and that day had finally come. The Aurora led Earth's fleet through the dark reaches of space, its glowing hull shining like a beacon of hope. The scattered ships of humanity followed closely, each one carrying crews weary from defeat yet filled with new courage. For the first time in weeks, fear was not the strongest force in their hearts. Determination had taken its place. Tom watched from the command station as reports from the Aurora flowed in. Each update told of alien ships destroyed, of small victories won against impossible odds. He clenched his fists. Humanity had been pushed to the brink, but now, with this forgotten ship at their side, they could strike back. Target their forward supply line, Eris commanded. It is weak and unprotected. Disable it, and their fleets will struggle to regroup. The human ships adjusted their positions, guided by the Aurora's precise signals. Lasers and plasma cannons cut through the darkness, striking alien supply vessels one by one. Explosions lit the void, illuminating the vast emptiness of space. Alien ships tried to respond, but their attacks were scattered and uncoordinated. Leo gripped his console, his eyes wide with excitement. We are actually doing it. We are hitting them where it hurts. Yes, the captain replied. Follow the Aurora's lead. Strike with precision. Strike with courage. The Aurora's engines flared as it moved to a new position. Its weapons unleashed a coordinated volley, breaking through alien shields with ease. One by one, alien ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. For the first time, humanity saw that the enemy could be beaten. On Earth, Myra and her team monitored the battle from the underground lab screens displayed live feeds of the fleet's actions. Every strike by the Aurora brought hope to her and her colleagues. They had feared total loss, but now it seemed victory was within reach. We have to reach the command ship, Myra said, pointing to the map. Destroying their supply lines is just the start. If we can take out the central ship, the web of energy devices will collapse, and the planet will be free. Tom's voice came through the comms. We know, Myra. The Aurora will lead the charge. Humanity is ready to fight for our home. In space, the alien fleet began to sense the change. Their formations broke as ships tried to defend against the Aurora's precise attacks. The largest vessels, which had once been unstoppable, now faltered under the combined fire of human fleets guided by advanced technology. Do not let them regroup, Eris said calmly. Push forward. Strike with everything you have. The Aurora surged ahead, its hull glowing brighter with each passing second. Its weapons fired in patterns that humans had never seen, cutting through enemy shields with unmatched accuracy. The smaller human ships followed, their courage amplified by the presence of this forgotten creation. Leo watched as a massive alien warship tried to escape. It's trying to run, he shouted. We can catch it. The Aurora responded immediately. Its engines flared, propelling it forward at incredible speed. In moments, the alien ship was surrounded. Coordinated fire from the human fleet struck simultaneously, tearing it apart. Cheers erupted across the channels. Humanity had won another battle. Yet the war was far from over. Eris reminded the fleet, the command ship remains. Its destruction is the key. Until it falls, the enemy can still return. The crew nodded, understanding the weight of the task ahead. Each victory brought hope, but they could not rest. They had seen what the enemy could do. Humanity's survival depended on finishing the fight. Above Earth, cities still burned, but reports of alien losses reached the ground. Civilians who had hidden in bunkers began to believe that they might live to see a free world again. Soldiers who had survived the initial attacks felt renewed strength. News spread quickly, humanity was no longer alone. A powerful ally had appeared, and the tide of war was turning. Tom stood in the command station, staring at the holographic map of the solar system. The Aurora led the fleet forward, each movement precise, Each strike effective. "We are changing history," he said softly. "We are showing that humanity cannot be defeated." The battle continued for hours, but every strike brought the fleets closer together. Earth's ships fought with new coordination, guided by technology they had never possessed before. The alien fleet, once confident in its superiority, now faltered against human resilience and ingenuity. By the time the Aurora called a temporary halt, the human fleet had regained control of the key regions near the moon. Alien losses were heavy, and survivors retreated into the darkness of space. Humanity had taken the first major step toward victory. Eris spoke across the channels, calm but firm. "This is only the beginning. We will track the command ship and destroy it. Earth will be free. Humanity will survive. We fight together, and we will not fail." The crews of Earth's ships cheered, their spirits lifted. They had faced impossible odds and survived. They had found hope in the Aurora. And now, for the first time, they believed that victory was possible. The final battle loomed near the outer edge of the solar system. The alien command ship, massive and dark, floated like a shadow among the stars. It pulsed with energy, sending signals to the devices that drained Earth below. The human fleet, led by the Aurora, prepared for the strike that could decide the fate of the planet. Tom stood on the bridge of the Aurora, his eyes fixed on the enemy. He felt a mixture of fear and determination. This was the moment that would test humanity's courage and the strength of the forgotten ship that had returned to aid them. Eris's voice filled the bridge. "This is the final engagement. The command ship is heavily shielded. Its defenses are strong, but not perfect. Follow my instructions exactly. Precision and timing are the keys." Leo glanced around at the crew. Every face showed the same mixture of anxiety and resolve. Weeks of defeat had hardened them, and now hope burned brightly in their hearts. They were about to strike at the heart of the enemy. The Aurora surged forward, its engines glowing with brilliant blue light. The fleet followed in formation, moving as one under Eris's guidance. The command ship detected them and fired, launching waves of energy across the void. But the Aurora and its allies maneuvered with unmatched speed, evading the attacks with precision. "Target the central core," Eris instructed. "Weapons ready." Tom nodded and relayed the commands to the fleet. Cannons charged, lasers aligned, and missile bays opened. The human ships fired in unison, their attacks guided by the Aurora's advanced systems. Energy beams struck the alien shields, weakening them in key points. The command ship responded with fury, launching dozens of countermeasures. Its shields flared brightly as explosions erupted around its hull. Alien vessels tried to protect it, but the human fleet cut through them one by one. Every strike brought the command ship closer to defeat. Leo watched the readings carefully. "Shields are weakening," he shouted. "We can break them." Eris's voice was calm but firm. "Continue the assault. Focus on the core. Precision is more important than force." With one final coordinated strike, the Aurora unleashed a concentrated volley directly at the command ship's energy core. A massive explosion rippled across the vessel, and its shields collapsed. The core flared brightly, then shattered in a brilliant flash of light that illuminated the surrounding darkness. Alien ships scattered in panic. The devices on Earth's surface immediately lost power. The energy that had been draining the planet disappeared, and natural flows returned. Across continents, humans felt the change. Cities that had gone dark began to stabilize, and the sky slowly cleared in places. Tom allowed himself a deep breath. The battle was over. Humanity had won. The enemy retreated into the far reaches of space, broken and defeated. The Aurora floated silently among the debris, its lights dimming as systems cooled. On Earth, Myra and her team watched the readings from the lab relief washed over them as they saw the alien devices lose power. They could feel the planet breathe again. Myra smiled, thinking of the courage and unity that had made this victory possible. Messages of hope spread quickly. Survivors came out of hiding, soldiers returned to aid in rebuilding, and people everywhere began to understand that humanity had survived against overwhelming odds. The Aurora's presence had given them the strength to fight, and now it remained as a symbol of resilience. Leo walked along the bridge of the Aurora, looking at the stars beyond. He felt proud to be part of this mission, proud that humanity had reclaimed its place in the universe. "We did it," he said quietly. "Yes," Eris replied. "Humanity did not fight alone. You used courage, intelligence, and unity. That is the true strength. I only guided you." Tom joined them, his expression calm but filled with gratitude. "You helped us see what we could become. Together, we have defended Earth. But we must remain vigilant. There may be other threats beyond these stars." Eris's lights pulsed softly. "I will remain with humanity. Not as a ruler, but as an ally. Together, we will prepare for the future. Together, we will explore and protect." The human fleet celebrated quietly in space, but each crew member knew that this was just the beginning. The war had tested humanity, but it had also revealed what humans were capable of: courage in the face of despair, intelligence that could overcome any enemy, and the ability to rise when all hope seemed lost. As Earth slowly healed, the Aurora remained in orbit, watching over the planet. It was a reminder that humanity's greatest creations were not only tools, but symbols of hope and perseverance. Tom looked down at the blue planet below, feeling a sense of peace. Humanity had survived. Humanity had triumphed. And with allies like the Aurora, the stars themselves were no longer beyond their reach. For the first time in a long time, the people of Earth could look to the sky and feel hope, knowing that their strength and determination had saved their home. And so, victory was not only in battle but in the courage, unity, and spirit of humanity. The Aurora had joined the fight, and together, they had forged a future worth defending.